What if I told you that every single business out there, from the little coffee shop on your corner to the biggest tech companies in the world, is telling a story? A story about its wins, its losses, and all its secrets. Well, that story is written in a special language, the language of accounting. And today, we're going to learn how to read it. So, how does a business actually tell you what's really going on, behind the scenes? How can you tell if it's thriving, if it's just scraping by, or maybe if it's hiding something? How does it spill its secrets? Well, the answer is actually pretty straightforward. It uses a universal language. It speaks accounting. You see, accounting is the system that takes all the chaotic, day-to-day stuff that happens in a business and translates it into a clear, understandable story that anyone, and I mean anyone, including you, can learn to read. Okay, so if it's a language, you gotta ask who's it for? Who's the audience? Turns out whole groups of people rely on this financial story to make some pretty massive decisions. So who are they? And what are they listening for? I mean, just think about how many people are leaning on this information. The owners, they just want to know if they're making money or losing it. The managers, they need it to make smart decisions day in and day out. Investors are basically detectives hunting for clues on where to put their cash. Banks and lenders won't give you a dime unless they can see the books. The government, of course, wants to make sure they get their tax money. And hey, even the employees are peeking at it to see if their job is safe. It's this whole web of people, all needing to read the very same story. So what does accounting actually do for all these people? Well, first off, it keeps a super organized record of everything that happens, kind of like a perfect filing cabinet. It gives you a clear snapshot of the company's financial health. It also helps protect the company's property from being misused, and all of this leads to the big one, making smarter, more informed decisions. It's a huge tool for preventing fraud, and it can even stand up as solid evidence in court. It's really the engine that provides clarity and security. All right, so we've covered the why and the who. Now let's dive into the what. How does all that messy, raw data from a business actually get turned into a clean, easy-to-read story? Well, it all boils down to a pretty simple four-step process. At its heart, accounting is really just the art of processing every single financial event that a business goes through. Think about it for a second. Every sale, every bill that gets paid, every paycheck that goes out. The whole point is to record it, classify it, summarize it, and then wrap it all up in a report that's actually easy to understand. Honestly, the best way to picture this is like a production line. Raw data goes in one end and a polished story comes out the other. So first, you record every single transaction as it happens. Then you classify all those transactions into neat little piles. All the sales go here, all the expenses go over there. Next, you summarize those piles into simple, digestible totals. And finally, you report all those totals in the official financial statements. And voila, that's your story. Now, you've probably heard the term bookkeeping thrown around, right? It's really important to know that bookkeeping is that first critical step we just talked about, the daily, systematic recording of transactions. It is the absolute foundation. If your bookkeeping is messy, the rest of the entire accounting process just falls apart. Okay, but for this whole system to work, for the story it tells to be trustworthy, it needs a core principle, a golden rule that makes sure everything is accurate and balanced. This right here is what gives modern accounting its real power. You see, for a long, long time, accounting was basically just a simple diary. Money comes in, you write it down. Money goes out, you write it down. This was called the single entry system. It was simple, sure, but it was also a total mess and full of errors. The real game changer was the double entry system. This is the standard today because it tells the complete story. It's self-checking, it's always balanced, and frankly, it's the only way of doing things that the government and the courts will accept. And here it is. This is the golden rule. Every single transaction has two sides. Think about it. When you buy a cup of coffee, you give away cash, but you receive a coffee. Two things happened. The genius of the double entry system is that it records both of those things. That beautifully simple idea is what keeps the entire financial story perfectly balanced and totally trustworthy. All right, we've come a long way. We've covered the why, the who, the what, and the how. Now let's bring it all home. Because learning this language, it's not just for accountants. It's like having a superpower for anyone who wants to understand how the world of business really works. Look, at the end of the day, understanding the basics of accounting is all about financial literacy. It's about having the power to look at a company, whether it's your own small business, the company you work for, or a stock you're thinking of investing in, and truly understanding its story. This knowledge empowers you to make way smarter decisions in pretty much every part of your financial life. So I'll leave you with this final question. Now that you know the basics of the language, what story are the businesses you care about, the ones you interact with every single day, really telling you? The answer is right there, written in the numbers. You just have to know how to read it.